The airport terminal buzzed with the hum of rolling suitcases and boarding announcements, but nobody heard the small voice crying near gate 14, nobody except one woman who had just missed her flight. Her name was Marguerite Solano, a woman in her 50s with tired eyes and a heart that had survived more storms than most people could imagine. She had been rushing toward her gate when she saw them, a wealthy-looking family, dressed in designer coats, dragging leather suitcases, walking past a little boy sitting alone on a bench, sobbing so hard his small shoulders shook. Nobody stopped. Nobody even looked. People stepped around him as if he were furniture, as if his tears were background noise in a world too busy to care. Marguerite stopped. Something in her chest tightened, an old ache she recognized instantly, the ache of being invisible. If this story moves something in you, please take a moment to like this video, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs a little hope today, and subscribe to Hope and Wisdom if you believe in kindness and second chances. Now, let's continue. She knelt beside the boy, her knees protesting, but her heart pulling her down anyway. "Hey there," she said gently. "Are you lost, sweetheart?" The boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old, looked up with red-rimmed eyes and nodded, then shook his head, confused and overwhelmed. He pointed toward a group of people near the check-in counter, the same wealthy family Marguerite had just watched breeze past him. A tall man in an expensive coat was arguing loudly with an airline representative about seat upgrades. A woman beside him, dripping in jewelry, scrolled through her phone as though nothing else in the world existed. 2 older children stood nearby, giggling at something on a tablet. "That's my family," the boy whispered, his voice cracking. "They forgot me." Marguerite felt something inside her crack open. She had grown up in foster care, bounced between homes where she was fed but never truly seen, clothed but never truly held. She knew what it felt like to be an afterthought in a room full of people who were supposed to love you. She had promised herself long ago that if she ever saw a child suffering that kind of invisible pain, she would not walk away. "What's your name?" she asked softly. "Théo," he sniffled. "Well, Théo, I'm Marguerite. Let's go find your family together, okay? You're not alone anymore." She stood, took his small trembling hand, and walked him toward the group. When the mother finally looked up from her phone, her expression wasn't relief, it was irritation. "Oh, there you are," she said flatly, not even kneeling to check if her son was okay. "You know you're supposed to stay close." The father didn't even turn around, still consumed by his upgrade negotiation. The older siblings barely glanced at their brother before returning to their game. Marguerite felt anger rise in her throat, but she kept her voice calm. "He was sitting alone, crying. He said you left him behind." The mother waved a manicured hand. "He gets emotional. He'll be fine." Then, without so much as a thank you, she turned back to her phone. Marguerite watched Théo's face fall, watched him shrink into himself the way children do when they learn early that their pain is inconvenient to the people who should protect them most. Something in her refused to let that moment pass unmarked. She knelt in front of the boy one more time, ignoring the family entirely, and looked him straight in the eyes. "Théo, listen to me. You are not too much. Your feelings are not a burden. Anyone who makes you feel small for crying is wrong, not you. Do you understand?" The boy's lip trembled, and for the first time, he nodded like he actually believed it. Over the following hour, as flights were delayed and gates shifted, fate kept placing Marguerite near that family. She learned, through overheard conversations, that Théo was the youngest of 3, born years after his siblings, and that his parents, busy with business, status, and appearances, often treated him as an obligation rather than a son. She watched him try to show his mother a drawing he'd made on the plane brochure, only for her to glance at it for 2 seconds before returning to her phone. She watched him ask his father a question, only to be shushed. Small moments. Quiet neglect. The kind that leaves no bruises but scars just as deep. When their flight was finally called, Marguerite couldn't shake the ache in her chest. As Théo walked past her, dragging his small backpack, she crouched one last time and pressed a folded napkin into his hand. On it, she had written, "You are seen. You matter. Never let anyone tell you otherwise." Théo read it, and for the first time that day, he smiled, a real, unguarded smile that reached his damp eyes. Weeks later, Marguerite received a letter, forwarded through the airport's lost and found after Théo had asked an attendant to help him find the kind lady. In shaky, childlike handwriting, he had written that he kept her napkin under his pillow every night, and that he had started telling his parents when he felt sad instead of hiding it. He said his mother had started asking him more questions. He said things were slowly getting better at home. Marguerite sat with that letter pressed to her chest and wept, not from sadness, but from the overwhelming knowledge that one small act, one moment of choosing to kneel instead of walk away, had rippled into a child's life in a way she may never fully understand. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like this video and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still matters. And before we go, do me one small favor, comment the word "seen" below, so Théo, and every child like him, knows that somebody out there truly sees them. Sometimes the smallest voice in a crowded room is the one that needs us the most, and sometimes, all it takes is one person willing to kneel down and listen.